everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another one of our weekly Sasaki Miyano discussion videos. Today we're here to talk all about episode 8. As you can tell, the background is different. I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm just going to say that there are forces that be over in Japan who don't want people using any sort of footage from anime in general. So I don't know if that means screenshots, so the channel might start looking like this in the future. I will continue to show screenshots through the rest of the anime season, but starting in spring, it might just look like this the whole video. Just want to get you used to it. Still keeps with the lo-fi aesthetic. And you did get a gold star. Here's your gold star from last week. If you want another gold star, I'm going to need to see like 200 likes on this week's video before I give you your next gold star next week. If you can't tell, I'm talking fast because there's a lot to talk about. And I'm very emotional because of what happened this week. It's a lot. We're going to get into it right now. Are you ready? Here we go. Ah! 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 The ending! Miyano! Ah! 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 He said it! He didn't say it, but he acknowledged feelings. The ending. The ending. Remember when I said that this was like, I literally just said it in this video, like the lo-fi hip-hop side of AniTube. So you can, like, the whole point of these videos is just, you know, chill vibes for you to relax to. Except when we talk about BL, because suddenly your boy goes crazy. It's funny, when it comes to, like, a lot of, like, BL and shoujo stuff, I feel like I scream just as much over, like, confessions and little things like that as I do about power-ups and big shonen-y moves and shonen battle series. Your boy just likes hype. It doesn't matter the form it takes. But yeah, I screamed at the top of my lungs during the whole scene at the ending. Okay, I'm just gonna talk about that scene for a minute, if you don't mind. I'm just gonna dial it in to try to process my feelings. I literally just saw it at the time of recording. Like, I saw it, I hit record, boom, here I am. Hello, hi, it's your boy, Mr. Underhill, I'm here. Where do I even begin? How about with, like, the immediate first interaction in that scene, where Sasaki sees Miyano from, like, across the way, or sees Miyano from, like, inside the room, right? And he's like, is that Miyano? So he's like, Mia-chan, right? And Miyano turns around. He's like, oh, Sasaki-senpai, I'm going to look out the window now because I don't want you to see me in drag, right? Like, I don't want you to see me right now. Didn't want to see my man cosplaying, or cross-playing, I should say. And Sasaki does something I didn't expect, and he walks in, and he locks the door behind him. When I tell you that I screamed, I literally went like, oh, like, what does this mean? Oh my, right? Like that, I was like, what's about to happen here? Oh my boys, what's about to happen here? So I was watching like, my boys. Keep in mind, you're still in school. You're in a classroom. This is not the place for this, right? I was like, what the hell's gonna happen here? And it gets spicy. It gets very spicy. Spicy with the drama. When Sasaki hits my boy Miyano with, not literally, hits him with some words that I don't think Miyano was prepared for. That being, he literally says, "You'll just let your classmates pressure you." Yikes. I was like, Sasaki, right? Like, when he said that, I was genuinely like, why did you say that? Right? Like, I was sort of like, why would you say that? Like, you know that's gonna upset him, right? Because, like, I get, if you're Sasaki, right? Like, if you're Sasaki, you see Miyano kind of bending over backwards to please his classmates, and that probably bothers Sasaki, not to mention the amount of time that Miyano is spending with his classmates and with the chairman. You know, that probably makes Sasaki feel some kind of way, because, like, for the most part, they don't really hang out much this episode, right? Like, they're together, there's cute moments with them. You know, there's the scene where Miyano says that he's still feeling kind of self-conscious about everything. Like, we get that scene with the two of them, but beyond that, like, we get that, and we get the scene where Miyano realizes that he actually does kind of like the moments where Sasaki actually like reaches out and grabs either his hand or touches his head or something like that, like gives him head pats, stuff like that. Miyano's realizing that he likes them. He's just still feeling kind of self-conscious about it, so he's not fully prepared to admit it to himself. Like, that's what's going on throughout the episode, right? Miyano's struggling to come to terms with how he's feeling and who he is and all that stuff, right? So that's the general vibe for a majority of the episode. It's just Miyano struggling to come to terms with his feelings towards Sasaki, right? And then Sasaki basically tells him, like, because Miyano's caught off guard when Sasaki's mean to him, right? Like, that catches Miyano, like, way off guard. Not so much mean, but when he speaks to him more in a, I guess we'll say, like, more aggressive tone, because it's not, like, mean, it's just more aggressive. It's more the way that Sasaki speaks to, like, say, like, Oga and Hirano, right? It's, like, because he notices that, like, he talks differently to those two, right? But when Miyano clues in that he's like, wait a minute, why does he care so much about what he says around me? And he's like, oh, it's because he likes me. Right, so Miyano's, like, cluing in that it's like, okay, so Sasaki likes me, right? Like, which is something Miyano's known, but I don't know if we've ever really had him say it to himself out loud. Sasaki likes me, right? Like, him saying, Sasaki likes me. Like, I don't think we've had that moment where he, like, he might have, like, mentioned it here and there, but he would always, like, no, but he couldn't. Like, no, there's the misunderstanding, or no, something's not right? Like, there's always an excuse. We've never actually seen Miyano fully embrace the fact that Sasaki likes him, that he really does feel about him the way that Miyano is starting to realize that he might feel about Sasaki, right? Like, the way that we know as the viewer that these two feel about each other, that these two love each other, you know? Like, they haven't really admitted that to themselves yet, you know? So when we get Miyano thinking on this, right, he says, like, wait, he likes me. And then Sasaki asks him to not to like bow out of the competition. Again, I was like, that's a weird request, but it's just because Sasaki's being kind of possessive, right? Like, he doesn't really want Miyano to be seen by others like that. He kind of wants it to just be him, you know? Like, he wants to see Sasaki like that. Or Sasaki wants to see Miyano like that, is what I should say. Right? Like, he's being a bit possessive, which I'm not crazy fond of. Like, we've talked about in the past that I do think that's something that Sasaki needs to work on. But I do understand that right now, he's not at that place yet. So he's asking Miyano a bit of a selfish request. And Miyano does genuinely consider it. And he's like, I gotta go ask my classmates first, right? And so Miyano goes to leave. And then it happens! And then Sasaki grabs Miyano. And they, like, turn. And I'm like, oh, right? And they get close, and I'm like, oh, and then they hug, and I'm like, oh, not quite what I had anticipated, but a hug is still adorable, and I will take it. I thought we were gonna get a kiss. I'm not gonna lie, your boy really thought I had full clown makeup on, because we've been saying that this is a slow burn series, and I gotta say that I have my clown makeup on. Because I really thought that was gonna be it. I thought they were gonna kiss right there. But no, it's an embrace, right? So Sasaki embraces Miyano, which, to be fair, is a big deal. Sasaki's wanted to do that for a long time, right? Like, he's wanted to just embrace Miyano like that for a while. A whole while. So once that embrace happens, we get this, like, inner monologue of the two characters, like, thinking about things, right? And they both say, like I want him to just be mine, like, all these things, all the things that the chairman was saying earlier, which I will get to in a moment. But, like, they're thinking all these things about each other, and Miyano and Sasaki both say, I like him, right? And that's where Miyano says, like, oh my god, I think I just realized it. And then that's where the episode ends. Right? The episode ends with Miyano basically saying, like, I think I realized, which is the title of the episode, like, I realized, and then he goes to put his hand on Sasaki as they're embracing, right? Like, he kind of, like, has his hand on his back. And he's totally flustered, but it's there. It happened. He said it to himself. Not only did he acknowledge that Sasaki likes him, Miyano acknowledged his own feelings and said the thing. A round of applause for the boy. my God, right? Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be stiff competition for ship of the season. I'm telling you, I'm gonna, or not ship of the season, ship of the year, because ship of the season locked down, like down pat, locked down. It's Sasaki and Miyano. Any other ship this year is gonna have hard competition for Sasaki against Sasaki and Miyano. Like, these two, absolutely positively top tier. I'm gonna put my foot down. That this is my favorite ship. This is my absolute favorite ship. I'm gonna make that a poll at the end of the year. Remind me, who was the ship of the year, and why was it Sasaki and Miyano? Because hot damn, this was so good, so good. I loved seeing like Miyano finally admit his feelings. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. I loved it. It got me all up in my feelings. It was great. And you know who I think was the secret benefactor? The chairman. Okay, allow me to explain, right? So, I was getting some weird vibes from the chairman. I'm like, why is he behaving like this? Why he do this? Why he do this, right? Like, why he do this? Why he do that? What's going on, right? Why you do this? And then I think I started to clue in, right? Because the speech that he gives to Miyano, right? When he asked Miyano, like, did you fall for somebody? Right? Miyano's like, maybe, right? Like, kind of like looks away, like, no, definitely not. What are you talking about? And how would you even know, right? And the chairman's like, well, right, like, it's because, like, you realize that you want to be with them all the time. You always want to be around them. You think about them all the time, and you don't want anyone else to see them. You want to reach out. You want to hold them. You want to hold them. You want to please them. Then you got to try a little tenderness. Sorry, I'm thinking about Shrek now. The chicks love that romantic crap. Right? Think about that. That's literally what it was. Just the chairman was Donkey from Shrek. Got to try a little tenderness. Straight up. Right? Because, like, basically, and he hits him with the line that I love, which I have over here. They say love is being unable to keep somebody out of your mind. Which, throughout this entire show, This episode is literally like the culmination of a lot of things. This must have been like the end of an arc, or like the end of a volume of the manga, because like the entire show keeps showing Miyano thinking about Sasaki, and Miyano saying, why did I think about Senpai just now? Why did I think about Sasaki just now? Why did I think about Sasaki Senpai? Why did I think about him just now? Why did I do that? Right? Like, constantly, right? Like, we've had those moments where like he'll just think about Sasaki and he's like, why did I think about that? Only to have the chairman sum it up by perfectly saying that that love is when you can't keep somebody out of your mind, right? Like, when you love is being unable to keep somebody out of your mind. That's such good. First of all, that's such a good way to put it. And second, I love the chairman, right? Because and here's why, right? Because as he's saying this, the show is literally showing you the ships, right? Because it's like, here's Sasaki and Miyano. Here's Hirano and clearly the roommate. That has to be the roommate. Like, 110% that has to be the basketball playing roommate, right? So I'm like, give me the spinoff. Give me the spinoff after this is done. Announce Hirano and Hirano and the roommate. Announce that series at the end of this one, right? Either give me a season 2 of Sasaki Miyano or give me the spinoff, right? Like, give it to me, right? Like, when I saw it, I'm like, like, in the way that he like lights up when he sees Hirano and Hirano laughs and kind of like smiles back. I'm like, I don't even really know these two and I like it. And then you see Kurosawa and his girlfriend, who we haven't even seen. We've literally never even seen this girl on screen, and they're such a ship, right? Like, they're showing those two. The only two I think that were missing was Oga and his girlfriend weren't in that, but that's because we saw Oga and his girlfriend earlier, so it's like, okay, like, we already saw those two, and their relationship's a lot more rocky, but I still like it. It's funny and cute. And the only other relationship we don't see is, of course, my new favorite, that being Tashiro and Kurosawa. Tashiro definitely fell for cross-dressing Kurosawa. No, but seriously though, like, the chairman, as he's saying that speech, right, and it shows all the different relationships, it shows you how wise the chairman is. Like, he's in his 3rd year, much like Sasaki, but he's a lot more wise than the others, right? Like, he's more wise than Sasaki and Hirano and Oga and all them, right? Like, he's got his shit together in a big bad way. And what I want to point out, and I don't know if maybe I'm misreading this scene. I very well could be, right? But the chairman gets a text from Hirano saying that he's needed downstairs, right? Like that they need him, like that Hirano needs him, like in a different room. Whether I believe he's on like the third floor or the first floor or something, and they're on like the second or third, right? So he needs him. Sasaki's coming up the stairs as the chairman is walking down the stairs, right? Like they don't see each other. They're like, Sasaki sees the chairman, but they're like ships in the night, right? Like they just miss each other. And Sasaki says, "That's weird. Hirano told me to come get it." Like not weird, but he's like, "That's like, says, damn it. Like Hirano told me to come get the chairman," right? So it's like, oh snap! Did the chairman get a message from Hirano saying like, "Hey, I sent Sasaki to go get you. Come with him. I need you." Right? Did the chairman just be like, "I'm going to let Sasaki come up here and see Miyano"? Because don't forget, earlier in the episode, Miyano says "Sa," and then pulls it, and then is just like, "Somebody told me that I shouldn't worry about that anymore," right? And the chairman's like, "Sa, who would have guessed?" Right? Or what do you know? Right? Like, so it's the chairman realizing like Miyano likes Sasaki, right? So I feel like the chairman set that up. Like, I feel like the chairman's like, "Sasaki's coming to get me, huh? Not if I get to Hirano first," right? So this, I guarantee the chairman saw that text, went, "I'm going to Hirano before Sasaki can see me. Sasaki will walk into this room, see Miyano, and they'll be able to talk," right? Like, I guarantee you the chairman was being cheeky. You know, that's the vibe that I got, is that the chairman was being very cheeky, which I loved. I loved this whole friggin' episode. It was great. I love it. This show is so wonderful. I don't know what's gonna happen from here on out because I just don't know. What I do know is that I love it. It's great, and I love it. Anyway, outro. And there you have it, everybody. That is going to wrap it up for today's video, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and set notifications to all. Let all of AnyTube know that you are here, and if you haven't done so already, go ahead and check out our Discord so that you can actually be notified when new videos go up, and of course, you'll also be notified when we're streaming over on the other website that starts with a T. On top of being the best way to get notified for new videos, it's also a good place to discuss with fellow anime fans and stuff like that. So if that sounds cool to you, go ahead and join us over on the Discord, link down in the description. Also linked to the description is our Patreon page, and that, along with the join button right beside the sub button, are great ways to help keep this channel afloat. You will find our Patreon page for as little as $1. You can help keep this channel running. And of course, a big thank you I have to give to our masters of masters, the true legends: Asaki VT, Elizabeth Just Elizabeth, JCran23, Jeremy P, Matt87 Eagle, Shadow Creative, Shiorans, Stephen G, Stevie W, Trapmaster, Trevor W, and Tristan G. Thank you all so much for being so freaking cool. I really love and appreciate all of you guys for your tremendous support of this channel. And if you too would like to have your name shouted out at the end of videos, once again, go check out that Patreon link in the description or hit the join button right beside the sub button. Either way helps out a ton. And that's it for me. So until next time, clean your room. Just trust me, a clean room is a clean mind. Maybe do some Tai Chi. Maybe drink lots of water and brush your teeth. And yeah, have a good day. Bye.